What I need you to do is take out some paper. You know you're taking some notes on interviews today. And a pen or pencil and get everything else off your desk. So let me give you a little preview as you're getting your stuff out of what's left to come, okay? We're getting into the suspect. We've looked a little bit at the crime scene now. We've kind of made a theory, a hypothesis about what we think happened. You got gum, spit it out, DNA. We've come up with a little hypothesis, a theory about what happened. And we've looked at the crime scene, but we haven't looked at specifics. We haven't actually tested the fingerprints. We haven't looked at the shoe prints, the tire tracks, all that physical evidence. We're going to get to that next. It's the second half of all this. But what we're doing now, and most of this week, is looking more at the background of each of these suspects and whether or not they have the means, the motive, and the opportunity to commit this crime. Okay, you're not going to be talking over them. It's not going to happen today. So after you're done with this part, then you do the physical evidence. Then you get to do all the cool CSI-like lab. You're going to analyze the fingerprints, the shoe prints, the tire tracks, white powder, and so on. Okay? When everything's said and done, then you should have all the clues, all the pieces of the puzzle. You put them together to tell a story. That story is your case, your argument that says, she's a kiss-up did it, or whoever you think it is. Okay? And you're going to do a write-up. You're going to do a written summary telling me what happened in this case. Each individual person will do that. Each person will also be responsible for their portion of a PowerPoint presentation. And questions about the suspects and their background that you're going to get today are also going to be on the test, the final test. So you got all those things that you have to look forward to at the end that you have to prepare for. But when we're making a case, we're taking it to trial, we're making a case, it consists of two main pieces. This piece, the MMO, the means, motive, and opportunity, you have to prove that to a jury beyond, no, what's the saying that we use in court? You're guilty beyond blank blank. Nobody knows, huh? Wow. Reasonable doubt. Never heard that before, that phrase? Guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay? That means you have to pretty well convince me that what happened, what you say happened, happened. What's going on there? Okay? You have to make a pretty convincing argument. And that means that not only are you going to show that I had the ability, the equipment to commit this crime, but I also had a reason for doing it, a good reason. And I have the chance to commit the crime. Okay? Now you could prove all of these things and still not win a conviction, because the conviction also has to connect me to that specific crime. Two ways you could do that. You could do it with physical evidence, you could do it with a witness. Sometimes we win cases on witnesses alone. But usually if it's something like a kidnapping, a murder, you can get up out of your seat and get it. That also.
Number 4, approximate time that the crime occurred. It says list reasons for your answers.
Let's say
you don't
Ruben
just say
says,
the crime
I'm kill
occurred
me.
between 4:30
He's got a
and
whole plan
5:30,
written out
whatever
to kill
it
me.
may be. You
And
tell
he may
me
even
why
have a
you
gun,
think that.
and
What are
he's
you
got
going to
the
refer
reason
to
because
for
I
the
gave
time?
him a B instead of an A.
What did we
And
do
he's
together?
got the chance because he's in my
Refer
class
to
every
for the
day.
time.
He's got the means, the motive, the opportunity. Okay?
When that happened.
And then I wind up
I
dead.
think the crime happened
Well,
here.
he's
Why?
not gonna be
Because
convicted of
there
that
was
crime
no
if
one
we
that
don't
saw her after
also
this point.
connect
That
him.
kind of thing.
We have to show with either a witness, somebody saw you did it, or
All right.
physical evidence.
Number
that he actually did it.
5, general
He's a gun.
description of the office is found by the police.
So
Okay?
once you've
You're
done
going to get
that,
that
then you
from
made
the
a
crime
strong
scene
case.
evidence
This is what
team
you're gonna present
or
to
from
them. Summary,
the crime scene notes. Both of those are blue in your case.
So we're going
file.
to get to the physical evidence here.
Number
before long.
6,
Next Monday, you
It
will
says,
be evaluating
what conclusions
that.
might you draw from the fact that there was no sign of forced entry into the
Today,
school?
you're going to watch the interview.
Or into
As
the
you
office,
watch
or into
each
the
person's responses
administrative
to the
office?
questions.
What
Remember,
clues
they're
can
not
you
just
get
going to
from that?
spell right out.
I can think of 3.
Oh, my means is this. this is why I dislike Hanahacho and why I like Hanahacho.
What can you conclude from the fact that nobody appeared to have forced their way into the building?
Questions. You're going to have to read between the lines.
Okay, it could be someone from the
You're
staff,
not only going to
someone that
listen
was
to what
already
they
in
say,
the
but
building.
you're going to listen to what they don't
They
say.
had keys.
You're going to listen to how they say it. Their
The door
body
wasn't
language.
locked,
All
like
of these
they
things
claimed.
are good clues.
It was locked.
For instance, when a person
Or they
walks,
were so well liked that they got someone to let them in. Is another possible explanation.
yeah. You know, a lot of people don't like
Number
to
7
look
on
you
the
straight in
back.
the eye and make
Here's where we run into some roadblocks. So it says, list
I
the
don't
evidence
have
you will have
none.
to work with to solve this
Right.
crime. Okay? When you go to write a list, a lot of you just get in the habit of write a word dash.
So if you do look them straight in the eye, what
That's
else do
not
they
going to be a
often
sentence. The way I would write a sentence
Stutter,
here is,
fidget.
the evidence I have
Maybe
to
they'll
work
look
with
away
includes,
A lot of times people
colon,
look up
what always
and to
follows
the
a
right
colon?
when they lie. Because that part of your brain is the
What always
creative part
follows
of your
a
brain. You're
colon?
going, let me think of a good excuse.
List.
a list.
Dad says,
Thank you.
why were you out until 10 o'clock when your curfew was 9?
A
Well,
list.
I ran
So
out of
then
gas.
you can go colon, and you can start listing things.
Excuse you just
You know, everyone gets so freaked out about the sentence thing, sometimes they do, the evidence includes a ring, period, a gun, period, a brownie, period. Well, first of all, none of those are sentences, and that's not how you would write it. So, the evidence includes, colon, and you can go on and on, there's a bunch of things. You look at that blue sheet, crime scene notes.
That's why we're using.
We've got a brownie, we've got an earring, we've got a shoe, we've got fingerprints, we've got fibers, we've got lip prints, we've got a Diet Coke can, a Pepsi can, ransom note, tire tracks, shoe prints, goes on and on. Yes,
Did this count on this?
that was on the grade sheet,
Which is
yes.
one of the reasons.
Number 8, what methods might perpetrators have used to get in and out of the building without anyone seeing them? A lot of people forget that last part. Okay,
Maybe your eyes changed just a little
so
bit. Maybe
you're
your
thinking now,
it's bigger.
does it sound likely that the person was grabbed by their hair and drugged through the hallways kicking and screaming?
Human behavior.
No.
No. If there was any noise made, it wasn't made for a long period of time over a lot of the school because somebody, of all those people that were in the school, would have
Who's
heard it.
responsible
So now you're
for
thinking,
looking for the means?
What could they have done to get her out of the building
On Friday.
without being noticed? That's what you described. It says the methods, plural, that means more than one. Okay? Number 9, what route did they take to get her off, out of the office and
8,
off
group.
the school grounds?
6.
And include the evidence
raise
that
your
makes you
hand?
believe that.
What
Well, we saw that
One.
yesterday. There was
8,
a
6,
trail
1.
of evidence leading us to
5,
believe that they
3,
went out at
4.
least
Who's
one
doing
way.
2?
As far as coming in,
2.
you
Okay.
got to give me your
You're
best
doing
guess
neat.
based
Now,
on
I'm
what
just going
you
to review
saw.
this real
Okay?
quick because people
But
get
how did they get
confused.
in? How did they get out? And describe that trail. I think they went this way because we found this here. And they went this way because that would be the least noticeable way of going. Whatever.
That would be
You've got a
used to
reason for
commit
the way they
a
went.
kidnapping.
Yes.
Okay? Not just any crime. I get some weird things on this assignment some years. I have the person's a welder. Okay? Because I can
Nothing
weld,
fake about this, all right? It's real.
fuse 2 pieces of metal together. Is that useful?
Number 10. This is
Well,
where
you
you're
might
writing the
argue,
whole
sure it is,
hypothesis
'cause
out.
you
So
could
this
go
will
home
be
and
like
you could make
in
a
your
cake.
language arts class, and this is
And
your
a hot
ask
show.
you to write a story.
Not
You're telling
really
me the story,
required.
but your story is going to be based on evidence.
You don't have to be.
You're
a
not
welder.
saying, I think Ida may have done it, or
So
I
that
think
would be
she's
a
a kiss
poor
up, did
example.
this. You don't know those
An
guys yet.
example
You're going to
of
find
these
out
would
about
be
them on Monday.
As a
okay?
master
But
key.
you would say something like,
That's a piece
I
of
think a
equipment
teacher
that
with
the
access to the
individual
building, or
has,
someone that
maybe
was
has
still working in the
access to,
building,
they can get it if
set
they
up
need
an
it.
appointment with head of honcho,
That would be very
went
useful in this
and
crime,
was
to get into
talking
the
to
building
her
to
with
get
the
head
last
honcho.
appointment. Then they
But
struggled when she
look
tried
for
to
those
put
kinds of
handcuffs
things,
on
not
her,
just
whatever the
what
case
they
may
have.
be.
Here's when I get
You're
off.
telling me what
The
happened
janitor's lead
And you're
is
telling
they
me
have
evidence
access to cleaning
that
products.
supports that belief. How
You
did
have
you come
access
up
to
with that
cleaning
idea?
chemicals?
Okay? And that's going to
Everybody
take
has access to
the
cleaning
rest of the page.
chemicals. I have
So we can
409.
move on to another paper.
You know,
Staples.
glass cleaner
Yes.
right down here. That
You're
doesn't
gonna have
mean
the
that I have
joint
special
skirt, not the
ability
entire
to
thing.
commit a
When
kidnapping.
you are done with
because
this,
I have
I want you to
access.
put it on my desk.
It has to be
Every
something
period's been able to
unique that
finish,
not
but
just
you
everybody
have to be
has.
working together the
Maybe
entire
I've been
time.
in the military
The
and I have
person's writing
special
away, you
forces
feel like
training,
there's
so I know
nothing
how
for you to
sneak
do.
in and
There
out.
is. You go back
Maybe
and
I
you look at
was
the blue
trained
sheets in your
on
case
movies to
file.
be a
You
makeup
didn't
artist,
get
so I
time to
know how
look
to
at.
disguise myself.
Okay? I don't want you roaming around the room though. You can look at
Those
these pictures and other
useful
stuff
skills here.
later. but
Not, here's
today.
another one I
Okay?
have. The band teachers
Monday, we're gonna
means
look
is
at
they
the
have the
suspects
skill to
and you're
play
gonna
the
be
flute.
watching some interviews.
So they go in and they play
When
some
you're done with that, you
beautiful
turn
music
it
that
in.
just
I
gets
want
mesmerized.
each person
Then they
individually
take the flute
to
and
pick
bonk
up
it on the head.
one of these
Knock her out
and
and
take
drag her out
it
of
back
that.
to your seat and read it.
Does that
It's
sound
the
reasonable?
Buster Gazette put together
Very
by your
entertaining
group
story,
of
but it's
members.
not
I
reasonable.
see some danger
Okay?
recognize on it. And you're going to read this and look for any clues,
Vote it.
underline,
Who's doing vote?
highlight
Let me
if
see
you
the
like,
hands
and you can
responsible
share
for
that
that.
with your group.
1, 2, 3, 4,
This
5,
is yours
6.
to
I
keep.
see
You can
6
take it home
hands.
if you
What
like.
group is left out?
But you're not going to have time
1,
to
2,
finish reading
3,
it.
4, 5, 6, 7. I see 7 hands. What group
Questions on that?
is not represented?
All right,
There's
finally,
one.
before we go to our
Okay.
stations, I did mention the other day that there was a clue staring you in the face. Did I share with you what that
Motive
was?
people. Your job isn't too
No?
hard because everyone's going to share
Anytime
one
I
motive.
shared that with you?
Everybody wants this.
Okay.
Everybody
Well,
needs
just for the
this.
purposes of
Great
our
reason to kidnap
podcast
someone.
here, there were only 2 people all day long
Money,
who picked
okay?
up on
So don't just
Zach
write
and-
money. We want to discover what they need money for.
No, he actually
Okay?
saw it and said
So when
something.
you're
I saw
writing
it
down
and
need
Oh.
money, look for what they specifically
But my
need.
point
I-
with that
He may
was
say,
that
"I need
it
money
was
for
staring you in the
this
face,
and
it was right there
Two
under your
separate
nose, and you
things,
weren't
right?
aware of it.
You're
And
looking
there are
for two
clues
different
like
reasons,
that,
two
clues that
different
you've
needs
already been given,
or needs that they
that are
have.
right under your nose, but you don't
A
know to
second
look
reason
for.
might be
Okay?
they
And
have
it
a
just
grudge.
takes some training
They
and
were
patience,
passed up
willing to
for
go back
information,
and look at things in
They
depth.
don't like
Remember
it.
that eccentric case, the
Yes.
tiny little crystals, turn the case. Some of you didn't quite catch that. You thought that
Everyone's
the
gonna be-
algicide is what killed
That's why
her.
we're divided up the order, because it's a lot from one
No,
person.
it was
Cyanide.
cyanide.
If you
killed
are
her.
the
The
one person that
algicide
signed up for this,
wouldn't
I
have
would
killed her.
do
That's how they were able
all
to
of
track
them.
it back to her.
Because you don't want to trust your teammates that they're going to do the job. Okay, it is ultimately your responsibility. You're the one that signed up for it. Make sure you get on it. If you miss something, you can watch these clips.
Well, you could say it to me privately, but yeah, I didn't really.
Opportunities to trick
I know,
this
but then I
one.
thought
Who's
you were changing
responsible
this
for
here.
opportunities?
You'll get your other story.
One,
But no, I
two,
just picked
three,
a name
four,
and-
5, 6, 7. I see 7 hands. Who's missing? 1, 2. I guess Zach's going to do it. What? I know. So
All right.
somebody's going to do 2.
Information that was
Who's the
provided.
second one? All right. You might, if it's your assignment, Connor, then you might want to make sure you're signed up for it. All right. So opportunity. Are you signed up for it? No? Okay, then it must be yours. Okay, so for opportunity, do we have any group with 4 in it? We don't, do we? Okay, well, that may happen. She's got to have her work cut out.
Yeah, we have But Shauna's
You have a
not
group
here.
of 4?
Shauna's not here.
Okay. All right, we're going to have to make some changes here because I'm not going to have a group of 4 and a group of 2 because that's not fair. Or the third one here, opportunity. What we're looking for are 2 separate, distinct things. So make sure you follow me. First thing we're looking for is what's their job or relationship to head of honcho. Okay? Why is that important? That's important because if I work with head of honcho, if I'm a student at her school, if I'm a parent of a student at her school, I have special access to her that not just everybody does. If some stranger walking down Speedway decided to come into the office and walk into her office, people are going to stop and go, whoa, who's that dude? He doesn't belong here. You see what I'm saying? Whereas a teacher could walk in and go right to the principal's office, no questions asked. Someone who works in the office, a secretary, a nurse, a principal, assistant principal, I mean, they could walk in, no questions asked. And even a parent could set up a meeting and that wouldn't be suspicious. You see? So those people have special access to the victim. People get this one and this one confused all the time, and here's why. Opportunity could be access to the victim. Means could be access to equipment. Okay? At home, I have a great van that would be great for kidnapping her. That's equipment, something physical. Okay? Access to the victim would be like, you know, I share this office space with Mrs. Fee, so she has special access to my room. So she'd be a bigger suspect if someone stole a bunch of stuff from my room. Because she can just come right in and get into my room easily. You see? Special access to the victim is opportunity. Special access to equipment is means. Everybody understand the difference between those two? Shake your head, yes, you got that. Okay, not sure about that. We're not all bobblehead dolls. Yeah, I got that. Okay. Second one down here. What is their alibi? Alibi is a claim about being someplace else when a crime was committed. Okay? Let's say the crime was committed this Saturday during the U of A football game. My alibi was I was at the game. There are 52,000 people that can back me up. I was on the Jumbotron, and I was on ABC, on national TV. Good or bad alibi? Pretty good alibi. My alibi is, oh, I was at home alone watching TV, and I don't even remember what I watched or what I ate. Bad alibi. Get it? So, you're not only going to write down what it was they were doing, but whether or not it's a good or bad alibi. Any questions on these three things that you're looking for? Okay, you got your work cut out for you, even if you're only doing one of them. It's a lot to look for. But in the end, what you're going to do tomorrow, you get together in your groups and you'll have this table here to complete. There's 2 pages to it. And for each suspect, you'll have 2 things you'll be writing about their means, 2 things about their motive, and 2 things about their opportunity. Just like I listed up here. Okay? One suspect, the interview will be cut short, and you'll only have 1 opportunity. But everybody else, you'll have 2 for everything.